Hola! Welcome to this lesson video for dividing complex numbers. So far we've figured out how to add subtract numbers with i's. So today we're going to learn how to divide them. Before we do so though, actually do some division, I need you to remember something called the conjugate. We talked about that when we talked about radicals. So for example, if I were to give you, let's say 1 plus radical 5. And I would ask you for its conjugate. Remember what we would say, the conjugate is minus radical 5. Okay, so the terms stay the same. 1 stay the same, the radical 5 stay the same. It's just instead of a plus sign, we change it to a minus sign. Okay, so that's what conjugate means. So same thing for complex numbers. The conjugate is exactly the same. So this question says, multiply this expression by its conjugate. So if this is my original expression, what would its conjugate be? Well, we changed the plus to a minus. Notice, sometimes people get this confused. The -3 should not change. Just the plus should change to a minus, and that's the only thing that should be different between the two. Okay, now we are going to make a grid because we're going to FOIL, or you can FOIL your way if you don't like to use the grid. Whatever floats your boat, that's cool. I'm going to label my sides, -3, 4i, -3, -4i. Okay, and we're going to multiply to fill in the grid. So -3 times -3, positive 9. -3 times -4i, positive 12i. -3 times 4, negative 12i. And then here, positive 4 times a -4, negative 16. And there are 2 i's, so I squared. But remember, never leave an I squared. Scribble it out and change it to a plus 16. So I want to add my like terms. Add the 9 and the 16 together. What would that be? 25? And then I'm going to add the 12i with the -12i. Holy cats, they're going to cancel. So I'm just 25. That's my answer. A real part. So here's what's cool. We had a complex number times another complex number, but I don't have an I in my answer because the conjugates got rid of the I for us. And that's going to lead us into our division questions, because here's the deal. Just like you can't have a radical at the bottom of a fraction, you're not allowed to have a radical at the bottom, or excuse me, you're not allowed to have an I at the bottom here either. Okay? So no I's and no radicals on the bottom. So the process is very similar to our radicals. We're going to do a special fraction that's going to be made up of the conjugate of the bottom. Okay, so we've done this with radicals already. It's going to be 3 plus 5i. 3 plus 5i. Okay. I'm going to start by multiplying the denominators. Okay, so let me highlight them just so I know which ones I'm dealing with. I'm dealing with this one times this one. So let me change back to my pen. Whoop, whoop. Okay, so here's my grid for the bottom. 3, -5i, 3, positive 5i. Okay, so multiply 3 times 3 and I get a 9. 3 times 5, 15i. I'm just going to fill this in real quick. -15i. -25, but then there are 2 i's, so I get I squared. But I scribble those out and I change it to a positive. So we're going to add the 9 and the 25, and that would add to 25 plus 9, 34. And then these guys are going to cancel, just like, you know, the radicals canceled. We multiply by the conjugate because we know that will cancel the I for us. Okay, so that takes care of my denominators. Now I'm ready to move to the tops. I need to multiply these two things together. Do I need another 2 by 2 grid? I'm going to say no. This is just going to be a quick distribution. 12 times 3, and then we'll go back and do 12 times 5i. So 12 times 3, 36, plus 12 times 5, 60, with an I attached. One thing we do need to be careful about, though. What can you tell me about 36, 60, and 34? They all share a common factor, but what is the biggest factor they share? You might think it's bigger than a 2, but actually that 34 kind of leaves us in a pickle. 2 is all I can do. So I'm going to divide all of these guys by 2. And so my final answer would be 18 plus 30i over 17. All right, there it is. Nothing else I can do. And that's how you divide, folks. All right, let's try a couple more. Okay, just so you have enough examples to look at. Special fraction it up. Yup. Now, do I change that -1 or just the plus sign in the middle? Just the plus sign changes to a minus sign. Okay, so keep all this other good stuff, brother. Okay. And we're going to multiply the bottoms. Man, my computer just can't keep up with me. I'm just too fast. All right. So label my sides. -1, 6i. -1, -6i. Woo! All these negative signs drive me crazy. Okay. -1 times -1, positive. -1 times -6, positive 6i. Negative 6i. All right. Starts out -36i squared, but yo, that I squared turns into a plus. So I'm going to add like terms. I'm going to add the 1 and the now positive 36. And that's going to go at the denominator. 1 plus 36 will be 37. But then, those guys are going to cancel. Alrighty. Now we've got to distribute on the top. We're ready to look at the top. So, whoop, that's what we're multiplying now. Do I need a 2x2 grid for this example? Ooh, negative again. I don't. I'm just going to distribute 7i. And let's see what happens. Let's go. There we go. 7i times -1. Negative 7i. 7i times 6i. We're going to have the minus. 42i squared. But that I squared, never leave it. Always cross it out. But that changes it to a positive 42. So we should consider, not only do I have to rewrite my top because it's not in standard form, a plus bi, that's standard form. I term should be second. Not only do I have to switch that around, but I need to consider these three numbers. Do they share a common factor? But since 7 and 37 are both prime, I cannot divide anything. So as a final answer, all I'm going to need to do, ooh, I want my pen back. Whoa. All I need to do is rewrite the order of the top. So put that 42 now without the I first. And then the minus 7i, and then the 37. Hot diggity dogs! That's our answer. Yeah. All right, what's coming up? This one? All right, let's do this one. I think we'll probably have the hang of it by now. So I know a special fraction with the conjugate, which is going to be all the same stuff, but what goes in the middle? A plus sign, okay? So that's my conjugate. And I'm going to multiply the bottoms first. It's just my thing. I don't know. I just like to do the bottoms first. Get them out of the way. Make sure the I does go away. All right. So let's see. Sorry I'm not too exciting. I'm doing this after school and I'm kind of a little tired, you know? So you get what you get, and that's it. All right, so fill in the grid. Multiply. Negative 3 times negative 3, 9. Negative 24i. Negative times a negative here would be a positive 24i. Negative 64i squared. You know, if I do my calculations too fast, you can always just pause the video to double check. And hopefully I don't make a mistake. I could do that too, you know. Long day. But I want to scribble out I squared. And so that would change to a positive. All right, so add my like terms. I'm going to add these guys. And 64 plus a 9. 73, I do believe. But then these guys are going to cancel because one's positive, one's negative. Do I need a 2x2 grid for the top? Yes, I do for this one. Okay, I need a 2x2 grid for sure. We've got the foil. So let's make the top grid a blue grid so you can tell the difference. So let me label my sides, 2 and 9i, negative 3 and 8i. And I'm going to multiply to fill in. So let's see. Negative 6, 2 times 8, 16i. 9 times negative 3, negative 27i. 9 times 8, 72i squared. But don't leave I squared, get rid of it, and make this 72 a negative. All right. So like terms, negative 6, negative 72, they will add to, what will they add to? Negative 78. And then 16i and negative 27i, what would that be? That'd be negative 11i? Is that right? Yeah. So now we need to consider our three numbers, sorry. This guy, and this guy. Do they all share a common factor? Well, lucky for us, 11 and 73 are both prime, so I can't do anything else. The top ordering's okay, the real part, then the imaginary part, so I don't need to rewrite anything. So bada boom, bada bing, that is it, yo. Alright, so that concludes our dividing video. So keep learning, guys. I will see you next time, and have fun. Adios.